I'm a reverend, don't give a fuck. So I promise that nobody appreciates your thoughts and prayers more than I do.
I have hopes and prayers that you, I'm gonna say something naughty, but I better not.
No. Here, let me put it this way. I have thoughts and prayers that you do not succeed in your political agenda, bitch. How about that?
Appreciate that, motherfucker.
This is from the Washington Post, and we are getting to the prime meat of the article, or the prime meat of the stream here, folks. Opinion. Guns are white supremacy's deadliest weapon. We must disarm hate.
And that is why we're showing a picture of an unarmed man walking around.
What'd you
say?
With
a Confederate battle flag.
Well, I said that's why they're showing a picture of an unarmed man walking around with a flag.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, he doesn't have his AR or his well, he doesn't have it drawn anyway. So if I was to like get the benefit of the doubt, he might have a Glock like underneath his coat there, holstered to the side.
No. So far, they found like only 3 people had firearms there at all.
Only like, 3 people?
Yeah, the people that supposedly were doing an insurrection were almost entirely unarmed.
Right off the bat, stupid title. There were so many things that you could say in response to the title alone, but we're going to reserve those responses for when we get deeper into this article.
If I may say something, fun fact, gun control was actually a form of racial or white supremacy, keeping the blacks from being able to defend against hate.
Against the Klan, yeah.
So. Also, let me point this out. The places that have the most gun control, the regulation oppresses more disproportionately black gun owners than white, because the city, urban, and rural distribution. So it's still using their own disproportionate effect logic. It's racist.
The Reverend Sharon Risher is a member of the Everytown Survivor Network, a volunteer with Moms Demand Action, and the author of For Such a Time...
Fucking mom organizations, my God! Ban mothers from being in politics, I swear to fuck.
Oh, jeez.
I agree. Fuck the mothers.
Hey, people in politics, you're turning Trucker into a sexist. Fuck you guys. For such a time as this, hope and forgiveness after the Charleston massacre. The defining photograph of the attempted insurrection on January 6th was that of a man strolling through the broken halls of our national capital. Amid the smashed windows and assorted rubble of the failed coup, coup. I'm tired of people like calling it a coup, honestly, because I find it hard to define this as a coup, really, because emphasis on the fact that Donald Trump called for the protests to remain peaceful. That's not a coup.
Let me point this out. The vast majority of people were unarmed, and a large number, if not a majority of them, were taking selfies and smoking pot, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
Base.
I'm proudly brandishing a Confederate flag on his shoulder and hoping to overturn an election decided largely by black voters. What the fuck?
White supremacy, dog.
What the fuck? Black people were starting to increasingly lean more towards Trump this last election. It was white. It was white males. Wait, Trucker. Wait. It was white males.
You're right.
It was white males who were starting to lean more and more and fall more in line to Biden, not black people. If anything, oh god, my head hurts from that statement. It's so fucking stupid.
No. If white support had changed half as much as it did, the black support for Trump would have picked up the difference and made him president.
Yeah, exactly. The black vote helped out Trump this last go-around. Not as much as it could have. I mean, it was still a majority that ended up voting for Biden, but because of how many black people ended up turning out for Trump as compared to 2016, it's not because of black voters that Trump ended up losing. This is even on CNN, like Mr. Sharon Risher. I take it that you are a mainstream media relying hack, right? So take the evidence from as presented by your own godsend media, the CNN, you know? It's an image that tells the story not only of January 6th or of the Trump's presidency, but also of all the steps that led to that moment. The whole history of hate in America captured in one frame. Oh, God. You're dumb, and you're such a simpleton.
Narrative.
And if you're going to be talking about how guns play such an important part in your article here, I mean, what's your evidence that this guy was armed anyways? Like, you aren't even, like, saying it for yourself as to whether or not that guy was armed. So you're not really helping out the, your own title of your own article right here. So are you, like, clickbaiting, Mrs. Risher? For me, the echoes of that picture reverberated back nearly 6 years. To the day my mom, Ethel Lee Lance, was shot and killed while praying in Charleston's Mother Emanuel Church along with 8 other black Americans, including 2 of my cousins and one of my close childhood friends. In the months leading up to that tragic day, my mom's killer posed for pictures with the Confederate flag, sometimes even slinging it over his shoulder, just like that insurrectionist in the Capitol did.
So basically, the argument of this article is that racist people use guns to do bad things. Therefore, we should ban all guns, even though guns have been used to do all kinds of horrible things throughout history. But they've also been used to do good things throughout history. Defend,
3 million times per year they protect people.
Yeah, I would ask this person what their opinion of Malcolm X and the Black Panthers are.
Yeah, precisely. I mean, that's one thing that Adam Ruins Everything actually brings up himself. Granted, kind of an off-base way, but he still admits to that little factoid himself. This deadly connection between white supremacy and guns runs throughout our history. You know, there is a connection between guns and other causes too, dipshit. Like Trucker mentioned earlier, the Black Panthers. And not to mention, I can't remember, actually it was USA Today. It was the USA Today article, now that I remember. There was actually this one black activist group that kind of resembles Black Lives Matter, but not really, because Black Lives Matter, the organization, is pro-gun control. But this particular black activist group that kind of shares a similar racial narrative and how that there's systemic racism in America and whatnot, they are like a pro-gun rights black activist movement. So
they're slightly better.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of white people in America, and a lot of white people own guns. I mean, that's not obviously not to say that all of them are white supremacists. Fuck no, you're an idiot if you think that. But just because that most people that own guns in America are white does not mean jack shit in of itself. Anyway.
Well, to 2 things to that. One, most people in America are white anyway, so it's probably going to happen by default. But 2, guns have literally been connected to every single or nearly every single cultural movement ever.
Mm-hmm.
Because America, bitch.
I mean, heck, you can even connect it to Mao Zedong and and Vladimir Lenin and the overthrowing of the bourgeoisie by the proletariat. You know, the Bolshevik revolution. That's what I meant to say. I mean, those weren't really white supremacists. They were more communist movements.
Here's the thing that scares me about this article. There was a book. There was a book that was written by like a legitimate white supremacist who the book, I forgot the name of it, but it was like the whole thing they taught. The thing is mostly just a racist rag. But the one weird thing is that in the book, the government used racism as an excuse to crack down on people's rights, and that's the one thing of the book which scares me, because that if there's anything valid about that book, it's that one thing that the government will use ending racism as a excuse to trample on people's civil liberties, and that's something that is pretty scary to me.
A white supremacist said that?
Yeah, that the government would use some racism as an excuse to crack down on people's rights.
I mean, he is somewhat right in that area. I mean, in the virtue of ending race, let's institute affirmative action. In the virtue of ending racism, let's do X, Y, and Z, and all that other stuff. And In this article, they're talking about, in the name of ending racism, let's ban guns. So,
yes, that'll fix everything, sure.
By the way, speaking of white supremacy, there's actually the Washington Post Twitter account actually gone sharing this very article on Twitter, and below the replies underneath the tweet, anyways, there was somebody that shared a picture of a whole bunch of Nazi protesters. They were actually the Charlottesville protesters, and they were the question. Okay, actually, I think it was like two pictures. In the first caption, it said, "Why do you have to have a 30-round magazine?" And then the next picture was the Charlottesville protesters, and it just had numbers on a whole bunch of the protesters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know, all the way up to 30. That's why. I mean, if a black person is about to be lynched by those guys, that's when a 30-round magazine is going to really come in handy.
Yeah, true.
It'll at least
By the way,
scare
I
'em
gotta
off.
go, you guys. It's been real good talking to you.
No, it's like I said earlier. A gun is everybody's greatest weapon.
Right, and by the
Not
way,
just white supremacists. Literally, it's the greatest weapon to whoever is holding it.
in 1866, armed Confederate loyalists stormed the Louisiana Constitutional Convention, murdering 34 black Americans in an attempt to block suffrage for freed slaves. In 1898, an armed white mob in Wilmington, North Carolina, proclaimed a white Declaration of Independence and then killed at least 60 residents before replacing the multiracial local government with white supremacists. In 1921, mobs of armed white residents of Tulsa attacked the black neighborhood of Greenwood, murdering as many as 300 Tulsans for the crime of being black and successful.
In 2008, Black Panthers armed with rifles hung outside a toll booth and screeched about how the black man's in power now, motherfucker.
Yeah, there's also that. In 1955, Emmett Till was tortured and shot in the head by white vigilantes, and today, mass shootings from the church in Charleston to the supermarket in El Paso to the Sikh temple in Oak Creek, Wisconsin, have been committed by white supremacists filled with hate and armed with a gun. You know, it doesn't matter how many fucking anecdotes that you want to present of hatred. I mean, yes, it is terrible that those people were killed for these motives of white supremacy and racism and whatnot. That's still not going to make me anti-gun. Because guns can be used for multiple purposes, not just for fucking racism. Simply put, if the Confederate flag is the primary symbol of white supremacist hate, the gun is its deadliest weapon. No, what would be its deadliest weapon is if it was to gain political power. That's the one thing that this person is not keeping in mind. You know what's more dangerous than freaking guns? Political power. And like we keep on saying here, guns are anyone's most dangerous weapon. Black Panther's most dangerous weapon. Bernie Sanders supporters' most dangerous weapon. And they're Antifa's most, well, okay. Not a whole bunch of Antifa people use weapons, but they try at least.
If they knew how to use a gun, it would be their most deadly weapon.
Yeah. Take a look at Chaz. JC Armitario says in the chat, claims to hate guns so much, yet wants the government to have all of the guns. Hypocrites much? Yeah, I mean, guns are not just white supremacists' most dangerous tool. They're also police officers and government's most dangerous tool for the sake of enforcing laws like gun control.
Real quick, what are you willing to bet this is actually one of them dumb bitches that wants to send social workers to deal with people off their minds on crack and heroin and shit?
But the truth is that taking down symbols of hate means very little unless we also disarm people who are inspired by them.
Oh, Lord.
So disarm Whitey.
So, am I getting this right?
That won't create a civil war.
So, am I getting this right? You don't want to disarm everybody. You just want to disarm a select group of people.
Yay, collectivism! Woo!
Yeah!
You want to be extra discriminatory on who is not allowed to own a gun. I mean, do you know who else was very discriminatory on who they instituted their gun control based off of political reasons? Nazis.
Hey, that is true.
They were all like, all of our Aryan brethren, they can be allowed guns, but Jews, no, you can't.
Actually, the Nazis were even more fucked up than that. The Nazis only were able to basically skip the line on a lot of gun enforcement measures. Like if you were a registered SS member or a Nazi member or a National Socialist Party member. You know, it literally, the equivalent would be the Democrats banning Republicans from owning guns.
Oh, wait. Okay, so it wasn't even just Jews that they were discriminating against. They were
Everybody who was non-white.
They were discriminating against Aryans who were not sympathetic or part of the Nazi Party as well, right?
Yeah, and like there was, unless you were a Jew, obviously, there was ways that you could get a gun, but it was different. It's like trying to get a gun in Chicago. Good luck.
Okay, so if I was to live back in World War II Nazi Germany, but I heavily disagree with the Nazis and decided to snub them at all their political goals, and the Nazis were able to like pick up on this bit of information, I would not be allowed to own a gun?
Yep.
Oh yeah, if they had outright evidence of that, you wouldn't be allowed to own a gun. Correct.
Alright. I'm not exactly an Aryan myself anyways. I mean, I'm 1/8 Italian for one thing, and plus there's
You fucking mooly.
No, I'm a WAP. Get it right.
Even worse.
Anyway. And on that front, our nation has lagged woefully behind. We failed to pass any significant federal gun safety bill in the past 25 years. Good! Good!
Good.
And our background check system remains riddled with gaps and loopholes. One of those gaps, now called the Charleston loophole, led directly to the death of my mom by allowing her killer to purchase a gun that he was legally prohibited from owning.
Quit using your dead mom to push a political agenda.
Appeal to emotion much? I mean, I'm sorry that you had that loss, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to give up my firearm. I mean,
if she cares about protecting herself and those she loves so much, she should go get a goddamn firearm and learn how to use it.
I mean, look at
She's
this.
also dead too, so why should we care? She's gone.
Look at it this. Look at it this way as well, woman. Other people are using guns to protect their moms from common criminals and hateful people, etc., etc. So what about their moms, huh? Oh no, their moms can...
Their moms don't matter, okay?
Their moms don't matter
because I'm a prissy little bitch.
Their moms don't matter because their moms do not serve the agenda of gun control. Anyway.
This woman is literally metaphorically, but still, standing on the body of her own mother to push for a political agenda.
Yeah.
That's pretty close.
Actually, now that I think about it, her mom probably wouldn't side with that, so yay her mom.
So I share my story today, alongside other members of the Everytown Survivor Network, during National Gun Violence Survivors Week to ask that as we reckon with hate in America, we also take action to disarm it. I mean, leftists are pretty hateful of people like me, Trucker, and JJ here. Should we disarm them people too just because they hate us? No. So stop it with the thought control, fucker.
My thought process is this. Everybody can have a gun. Everybody.
Yeah.
As long as I can have mine.
Yeah. Indeed.
And if you try to hurt other people with your gun, other people have the right to shoot them with their gun.
I'm a reverend, don't give a fuck. So I promise that nobody appreciates your thoughts and prayers more than I do. I
have hopes and prayers that you, I'm gonna say something naughty, but I better not.
No. Here, let me put it this way. I have thoughts and prayers that you do not succeed in your political agenda, bitch. How about that?
Appreciate that, motherfucker.
Anyway, but they are not enough unless they are paired with meaningful action. That action must come first and foremost from our leaders, beginning with the Biden-Harris administration. Oh, good lord.
I believe you mean the Harris-Biden administration.
The fucking moment that happens, then you are going to see more violence in the streets, woman. Do you want that? Do you want that? Then go ahead.
You want more people to die and more mothers to die? No, then shut your stupid ass mouth, bitch.
Yeah, keep on pushing for more gun control. That leaves us with a choice. The photographs I described above of the Confederate flag in the Capitol and in the hands of my mother's killer capture the history of gun violence and hate in America better than I ever could.
Let me just point something out. If we're going by per capita gun violence, you black dudes shooting each other would actually be a lot more representative.
Okay, this right here does not capture the image of hatred in America not very well. I mean, this guy, I don't even see him like beating up a black person or whatever. He's just by himself with a potentially out of a contextually twisted racist imagery right here. That's about it. I mean, there's...
Real quick, look at the guy, too. Like, he's just wandering around. It's not like he's charging a battle scene or nothing. He's just wandering around.
No, you know what would portray, what would capture an image of hatred in this nation a whole lot more, woman? Is a picture of the internment camps the Asians were in World War II. That, I mean, don't be so fucking narrow-minded. Get out of your little safe space bubble. But it's important to remember that they are a picture of our past. If we so choose, we can stop them from being a preview of our future. End of article.
That was a bunch of preaching and virtue signaling. It was gross.
Sharon Risher, you know what I think? I think that your article is a preview of a future that I don't want. An absolutely neutered and unarmed populace.
Oh hey, you've made it to the end of the video. If you like what you see in here, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button down below, please. If you want to see more content like this video is actually just a mere clip from a full live stream episode of my political show, Strike Force. Link down below for the full stream. Go check that out, and also subscribe and set the bell notification button to all to keep notified of this channel. I also have a BitChute channel under the same name, The Dark Conservatarian, and a Twitter and Subscribe star that may or may not be approved of yet. Links for those two as well in the description box. Hope to see you all later. Good day, and God bless.